Welcome to Great Lives in History. Today, we bring you the story of John Fitzgerald Kennedy, known to the world as JFK, the youngest elected president in American history, a Cold War warrior, and the visionary who sparked the space race. His leadership left a mark far beyond his short time in office. John F. Kennedy was born on May 29, 1917, in Brookline, Massachusetts. He was the second of 9 children in the wealthy and influential Kennedy family. Educated at Harvard, he traveled extensively in Europe, where he developed strong political opinions about international affairs. His senior thesis later became a best-selling book, Why England Slept. During World War II, JFK served in the U.S. Navy. In 1943, while commanding the patrol torpedo boat PT-109, he saved his crew after a Japanese destroyer struck their vessel. This act of heroism earned him the Navy and Marine Corps Medal and shaped his image as a war hero. After the war, Kennedy entered politics. In 1947, he became a U.S. congressman, and by 1953, a U.S. senator from Massachusetts. In 1953, he married Jacqueline Bouvier, and together they became one of America's most iconic couples. In 1960, JFK ran for president against Republican Richard Nixon. At just 43 years old, his youth and energy captivated the nation. The first ever televised presidential debates worked in his favor. Kennedy looked confident, calm, and presidential. He won the election and was sworn in as the 35th President of the United States on January 20, 1961. In his inaugural address, he famously said, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country." JFK took office at the height of the Cold War. Early in his presidency, he approved the Bay of Pigs invasion, an unsuccessful CIA-backed operation to overthrow Fidel Castro in Cuba. It was a major failure and a political setback. Then came the Cuban Missile Crisis in October 1962, a tense 13-day standoff between the U.S. and the Soviet Union after American spy planes discovered Soviet nuclear missiles in Cuba. The world stood on the brink of nuclear war. JFK chose a naval blockade and engaged in intense back-channel negotiations. Eventually, the Soviets agreed to remove their missiles in exchange for a U.S. promise not to invade Cuba and a secret removal of U.S. missiles from Turkey. This moment cemented JFK's reputation as a calm, rational leader who avoided global catastrophe. While battling Cold War threats, JFK also dreamed big. In 1961, he gave a historic speech to Congress. "I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth." This bold vision launched the Apollo program and ignited the American public's imagination. Though he didn't live to see it, JFK laid the foundation for the moon landing in 1969. On the civil rights front, JFK initially moved cautiously, but pressure grew. In 1963, he delivered a powerful speech declaring, "We are confronted primarily with a moral issue. It is as old as the scriptures and as clear as the American Constitution." He proposed the Civil Rights Act, which would later be passed under Lyndon B. Johnson. JFK brought youth, glamour, and culture to the White House. His administration was nicknamed Camelot, a reference to King Arthur's court, a time of hope and idealism. He supported the creation of the Peace Corps, sending young Americans abroad to aid developing nations. He championed public service and inspired a generation to believe in a better America. But on November 22, 1963, while riding in a motorcade through Dallas, Texas, President John F. Kennedy was assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald. The nation was in shock. The world mourned. His funeral was broadcast globally, and images of young John F. Kennedy Jr. saluting his father's coffin became one of the most iconic moments in American history. In just 1,036 days, John F. Kennedy changed the world. He pushed the U.S. to the front lines of the space race, avoided nuclear war, and began the journey towards civil rights reform. He believed in service, sacrifice, and the power of dreams. "A man may die, nations may rise and fall, but an idea lives on," he once said. And indeed, his idea of a better, bolder, more compassionate America lives on. Thank you for watching Great Lives in History. If JFK's story inspired you, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments.